First things first, big congrats on the opportunity for Just Debut. That was great. Am I saying it right? Is that how you
Yeah,
say it?
yeah. I think they
Okay.
pronounce it like Just Debout, all
Okay.
friendly, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. Same thing. Awesome. I first of all want to know how that went.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, of course, it was amazing. Just Debout hasn't been around since COVID. They got like shut down, like the French government like shut them down the week of an event. So like that hurt them
Mm-hmm.
real, real bad, and they haven't been back since then. So it was a big deal. The energy was crazy. It was at like a full blown arena, almost the size of like American Airlines here in Dallas. Um, so there was like thousands of people, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really insane to see how these many people show up for street dance, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and it was incredible. I got to go a few days early to check out Paris, and Paris itself was very inspirational with all of its art and um, they're very old city, so you got to see like stuff from like the 1200s, 1300s,
Yeah.
and yeah, very, very inspiring trip.
Mm-hmm. How did you? So I saw like a lot of the videos and pictures you were posting from Paris and stuff. Do those video ideas just kind of come to mind when you're there, or do you kind of maybe think about, okay, well, I kind of want to go to a place like this and take a video
Mhm.
like this?
No, yeah, it mostly comes to me when I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to. I've gotten better and better at being conscious of enjoying where I am and what I'm doing, but then also remembering like, oh, let me try to capture this in a creative way.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot. Honestly, it takes a lot of practice. I don't even
Yeah.
think I do it very well. I still oftentimes forget to try to capture anything because I'm enjoying it so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that always happens just in the moment. I'll like just um, my mind will just go off, and then I'll realize, oh, right, there's like a little stand right there I could use, and
Yeah.
then I can
Yeah.
get a little clip. Yeah.
So how do you kind of frame that stuff for yourself in public? Like, hey, I want to put my camera here. I want to record something myself, etc. Because that's kind of
Yeah.
the issue I've always had and continue to have is like being in public. I just don't want to look like I'm doing that, even though
Right.
it's very much more
What I'm
normalized
doing.
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, well, two things. One, I kind of gotten into the habit of like, don't ask permission, ask for
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness. So if
Mm-hmm.
something somewhere somebody says something to me, I just apologize, wrap it up, put it away, and go about my day.
Yeah.
And it does give me a lot of anxiety because I can get
Mm-hmm.
some I don't know, sometimes I can get a little confrontation with people telling me something I can't do,
Mm-hmm.
or like that I can't do something, even though it's like very obvious that I can, but um it can be anxious for sure, but I think November 2023, I want to say, I
Mm-hmm.
went to New York City, and are you familiar with Casey Neistat?
Yes.
So I got to be in a Q&A panel, not with him, but I was
Mm-hmm.
attending his Q&A, and I got to
Mm-hmm.
ask him a question. I was like, "How are you so fearless? How do you like put your camera across the street and not worry about it? Because this is my livelihood. If I lose my camera, I'm like
Yeah.
screwed." But he was just like, "You just get good at it. You just gotta do it and practice it, and as you continue to do it, you'll get more and more comfortable." And he's
Mm-hmm.
just extremely comfortable. He's never had a camera stolen, et cetera, et cetera. So after that, I've been trying to like implement that in my life and just don't ask for permission, and just
Mm-hmm.
don't be a d-bag about it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I just, especially with the way that I like filming myself, I like it in a little bit more longer shots anyway. So I like to use a longer lens. And sometimes people just don't notice the camera, and it's because it's way over there and I'm doing something way over here.
Oh
And so
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
frame myself up early. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So then what's your setup like? Like what camera or multiple cameras like do you use?
I do have multiple cameras. The what you'll see me with what most of the time for photography is the Sony A7 IV, and my baby 35 millimeter to 150 millimeter f2 to 2.8. It's my
Mhm.
dream lens. It does everything I need. It's the lens I used for most of the photos I posted at Just Debout, and yeah, that's my go-to setup for photography. For video, I actually have it right here. I was trying to use it for this
Yeah.
interview, but it's the FX3. This is
Mm-hmm.
a dear friend who passed away, James
Mm-hmm.
J. Code.
Yep.
His family gave it to me after he passed, so I honor him by using it in everything I can. That's a video camera, though. It's a phenomenal video camera, and I have a what's it? A Fujifilm X106. That's like what you'll see me post most of my like daily life stuff. That's just like the
Mm-hmm.
camera that I take with me everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna ask you then, do you take a camera everywhere? And so you take the Fujifilm. Is that because it's like compact,
Yeah,
more
it's
easier to travel with?
hold on. Do I have it? Yeah, I got it here. Hold on. Yeah, yeah,
He was not lying. He does take it everywhere.
I do take it everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real cute.
Okay.
It looks like a film camera. It's digital.
Mm-hmm.
People look at it and they're like, "That's a nice camera," and I'm like, "Thanks," and then they go about their day. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal to anybody.
Yeah.
So that's
The,
the one I use.
there was one time ever that I ever got complimented on my camera, and I was in last October. I was like vlogging myself every single day.
Mm,
And so even when I flew, I'm in Pennsylvania, but when I flew back to Dallas and I was there for work and everything, I took it to a park that I was going to see some friends. So I was just like had it hanging on me before I was starting to record. And somebody just in passing was like, "Hey, I like your camera," and I was like, "Oh, thank you."
hmm
It's never happened to me. I have a Canon like EOS 5 Mark II 5D, whatever it is. It's old. It's
I gotcha.
discontinued, right? So I don't expect anybody to look at this and say, "Oh, nice camera." It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice to get into those conversations with people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what the thing. It was like maybe I could have had a deeper conversation there, but then I was
Mhm.
just so taken aback. I was like, okay, you can go back. And, thank you. She went to go walk her dog. I
Mm,
proceeded to go back inside the park. Um, but okay, so I want to ask about Just Debut because I've never been to an event like this.
mhm.
So I wanted to ask what were some of like the highlights of like either the exhibition battles or exhibitions or like the battles or whatever. Were there any
Yeah,
specific ones that you saw that you were like, this was dope?
yeah, absolutely. Well, there were a few exhibition performances, no exhibition battles, but there was prelims beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had reached out to me beforehand that they had always dreamt to go to Just Debut and compete. And then I attended the prelims. I personally actually wanted to also compete because I
Mm-hmm.
was only doing photography on Sunday, the finals, and not
Mm-hmm.
for the prelims at all. They had
Mm-hmm.
other people for that. And so I was like, okay, I mean, I'll compete. I'll probably lose, so it's not a big deal. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to get out there.
Yeah.
But it was a 2v2, and so I didn't know anybody there, and it would be disrespectful to like not commit when somebody else is really trying.
Mm-hmm.
So I just enjoyed it. But what I noticed was that yeah, you can jump into these world renowned battles just by being there. There's
Yeah.
no really prerequisite. There's no competition you have to win in order to at least get into the prelims. And um, you know, at least show them what you got. So that's something I really took away from the prelims, that it's not as exclusive as it seems. You can, it's of course, us being in the US, getting to Europe and
Yeah.
financing all of that, that's the harder part. But
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're there, you can participate. And everybody in Europe is very like, it was really amazing to see how many people were so into street dance, even if they weren't participating, they were just watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The entire room was packed. They had four different styles of dance: locking, house, popping, and hip hop, of course. And yeah, the venue was packed. They actually had to act like every style that finished. So like if locking was first, once that was over, everyone had to leave, and then there was already a line outside for the next
Wow.
style. And then if there was still had room, you can get back in, but they had to
Yeah.
like kick people out to make room for other people. It was just
Mm-hmm.
beautiful to see that much appreciation for dance, because here in Dallas it can be slim picking sometimes. Usually the only people
Yeah.
that attend are usually the only people that attend are people that are interested in battling too.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, it's hard to get normal people to participate and come and enjoy the show. But so that was really, really cool about the prelims specifically.
Yeah, that's dope. Then I guess, are there any other events like that that you think like, oh, this it would be you would want to like one of your dream events to capture,
Oh yeah,
or any
definitely.
other events that you want to capture like that?
Oh yeah. Pretty much the other big name dance competitions, Red Bull, BC One, Red Bull Dancer Style. What's the other one? Summer Dance Forever. They have multiple events and styles to cover too, like Just Debut. Um, those are that and Just Debut are like the biggest and most prestigious ones. If you win those, you're like literally champion of that style for like a year
Mm-hmm.
in the world. So um yeah, those Red Bull, all the Red Bull dance events and Summer Dance Forever, those are like the big deal ones. I would love to get in there and be able to capture some dancers in a creative way.
Yeah. What do you when you're at an event like this?
Mhm.
Um, what are you looking for, or like how are you capturing the event? Like what's your eye looking for?
Usually I try to go off of the dancer's energy, and that's like a really basic level way to say that. But
Mm-hmm.
being that I'm a dancer as well, I can tell kind of where they're going with it,
Mm-hmm.
like what they're trying to say in their dance. So I usually wait for those uh those kind of bigger moments to that are coming. Like you can just kind of tell by someone's timing and how the music's going. If I was out there on the floor, I can tell when that part of the song is coming, that they can have like a big wow moment. So I usually look for
Mm-hmm.
something like that and kind of go off somebody's energy. I really like to show emotion when people are dancing because
Yeah.
in a still photo, it's hard to like appreciate what they were doing at the time because there's the before and after context that you don't have. You just have that frozen moment. So if I could capture emotion in the face, emotion in their body language, emotion out of the crowd reacting to what they're doing, that's what I aim for. And usually I can only tell when that's coming based off of the energy they're giving in their rounds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that's cool. I like that. So backing it up a little bit, just for us to learn a little bit more about you.
Mhm.
What came first, dance or photography?
Definitely dance. I've been dancing since I was 16, and I'm
Mm,
33 now, so it'll be almost 19. I'll be 34 this year, so it'll be 20 years pretty soon.
wow.
No, wait, that's terrible math. The 18 years.
All good. All good.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Wait. Wow. Okay. So dance for 18 years almost.
Mhm.
Photography for how many then?
2019, so this will be 6 years I've been doing photography.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So then what? I guess what led you into photography then?
sure. Well, with dancing, I grew up in an age before social media got really big. Like I had MySpace and everything.
Mm,
And cell phone quality wasn't there yet to post dance videos. And then it was really like that Ian Eastwood era where he was like kind of started the whole cinematic dance concept videos
yeah.
kind of worldwide. He actually mentioned it a
Consumed
few
many.
yeah, he actually mentioned it that like some dancer made a joke about it on TikTok or something, and he mentioned he like shared it and was like, "Oh, I can't believe this was what I was doing back then." I was like,
Mm,
started a wave of
yeah.
like high level video dancing, but not like paid for by the dancers,
Right.
like invested in by the dancers. And so once that kind of started, some of our friends, John Gifted, Zachary Major, they picked up cameras and started kind of producing those videos. And I
Mm,
am just a generally very technical person. I've always played video games. I've built computers. I just kind of always keep up with technology. It's a big interest of mine.
mm,
And um, So I kind of started. I couldn't afford a camera. I had a baby when they were doing um, the video and photography stuff. So I kind of started doing a lot of cell phone photography, and Zach and John in particular always mention how I either knew things about their camera that they didn't know, or I was doing things on my phone equal to them, just out of pure
Mm-hmm.
interest. I got shared by Samsung once just for my cell phone photography, and then a little bit later on, a friend gifted me her camera that she's lost interest in vlogging, and she gifted me her
Mm-hmm.
camera in 2019, and that's when I kind of started. So it really started with cell phone
Yeah.
photography with the iPhone 7 Plus and portrait
Yeah.
mode.
Wow. I remember
Once,
that.
yeah, when that came out, I was like, boom, I can actually like trick people into thinking this is a real camera. And
Mm-hmm.
making what I have work has been
Mm-hmm.
kind of a mantra. Like,
Yeah.
people that know me really well know that I love to buy new things, but I do like to only use what or only keep what I need. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I like that. I have the same habit, given that like I have a question regarding what you just said, but um whenever I like buy anything new, it has to be of like utility and
Mhm.
directly applicable to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't have interest in buying it. Like if I can't find a way to use it, I don't have an interest in buying it. I don't like buying things for the sake of it being like a paperweight
Yeah,
almost.
exactly. I
Um,
abuse the Amazon return policy really badly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't do. I think sometimes I buy something and I'm like, as a lesson to myself to not make the same mistake again, I have to take the hit and keep it. But then sometimes like you're just, are you being stupid? Just return it. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm
Amazon,
just like I'm
Amazon
just
will be
weird. I'm like,
okay.
now learn your lesson. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Don't buy that thing again. But no, that's cool. That's cool. So then, is there like a new piece of tech that you're currently like intrigued by?
Ooh, I mean, I pay attention to a lot of it. Like right now, I'm intrigued by the new MacBooks.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching some videos on that today. I'm really interested in like some of the folding phones that are out there. I would
Yep.
love to get like a folding iPhone pretty soon. That would be amazing.
I think that's what I'm waiting on.
Yeah, that's my dream because I used to be when I first started photography, I used to be a lot on the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
I would do most of it on the iPad because I just didn't have a computer then. And then the photography business kept building. I finally got a Mac, and the iPad became useless.
Yeah.
I literally just consume content on it. So why have $1,000 iPad? I actually ended up giving my iPad Pro away to my
Mm-hmm.
daughter with the
Mm.
keyboard and pencil and everything for her little iPad mini, little pink one.
Yeah.
Because it's completely useless to me except for consuming content.
Mm.
So it would be great to have like an iPad mini phone and then I don't have to carry two devices.
I agree with
Stuff
you.
like
I like that.
yeah, stuff like that's interesting to me. Camera wise, there's always something new. It's so overwhelming, but there's nothing out there right now camera wise that isn't what anything I need.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is kind of a nicety. I was actually watching a video
Mm-hmm.
today that I wish camera brands would let you customize the camera, like just like they do with computers, like a better processor, more hard drive, more
Mm.
RAM, but they would let us customize cameras. Like I don't need that big of a sensor, but I want that flipping screen, or I
Mm-hmm.
don't need such a nice viewfinder. But I do want this feature out of this
Yeah.
camera. But right now, these are all kind of built for the masses. Like they're
Mm.
amazing, but um,
Mm-hmm.
they're general. Like there are features in this that I don't need, and it would be cool to customize a camera in the future.
That's a business model literally ready to be
Yeah,
ready. Ramon, you better patent that right now. You better go and trademark that right now.
I
No one.
actually I researched the flaw in it, and like they let you customize computers because they sell like 500 million computers a year
Mm,
worldwide versus I think there's only 600, maybe like 6 million cameras sold out of all
mm-hmm.
the brands per year.
Wow. Wow.
So camera is a pretty small market actually. Like Sony makes
Relatively.
cameras, but
Mm,
their main business is like something else. probably
Yeah.
like sensors and silicon.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Never mind then. Well,
Yeah, I
no,
know, right? It's
never
so
mind if you
sad.
never mind. There's just, there's something there
Yeah,
to
there
keep
is.
for the
Yeah, yeah,
future.
yeah. That would be very cool.
Um, so then for have you ever looked into these new it's not AI, it's AR glasses.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I've
Did you
I've
try the Ray-Ban Metas that they were pushing a lot back last winter, like in November, December?
I've never tried the Ray-Ban Meta. I've seen them in person, but they the camera blinks when you're
Hmm.
recording. So I was like, oh, it'd be kind of weird to like be recording a conversation and then just blink, 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 you
Yeah.
know. So
Oh,
um
that's their way of not being super like super
yeah,
incognito or any like okay,
any
interesting.
like not good stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to like POV it, but I have other cameras that I could
Yeah.
use for POV. I have a 360. I have my phone. I could POV with my
Yeah.
phone. Um, so not something I would use. I have tried the Apple VR headset, and
Hmm.
as expensive as they are really good. Like,
Yeah.
I went into the store to demo them, and during the demo, I have a little bit of a fear of heights, so I get a little bit
Yeah.
of like vitiligo. No, not vitiligo, vertigo. My skin
Yeah.
turns white.
Oh man.
No, a little bit of vertigo with heights, and like
Hmm.
I felt like I was there because it
Hmm.
shifts to your own perspective, and it
Yeah.
looks like your own vision. And there was a part with Alicia Keys in it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I just met Alicia Keys." She gets in your face, and I was literally like, "This is crazy."
That's insane. Oh,
So
I want
that
to try one.
yeah, the demos are free, so yeah, just make an appointment at the Apple Store and go try them out because it's so convincing, and it's just like Alicia Keys is singing like right here, and
That's insane.
it was pretty cool. But yeah,
Yeah. Nice. I was about to get the Ray-Ban Metas because I was
mhm,
like, because I'm aggressively interested in like vision, given the fact that I'm blind. But at the same time, like just wanting to do something with glasses that aren't just spectacles. Because if it has like the camera function, all that stuff, that would be really dope. So I
hmm
wouldn't have to carry a camera or phone everywhere because of my anxiety about doing things in public. But it didn't turn out well. I did not know that in order to get prescription lenses into these things, that
mm,
only certain prescription lenses can fit certain frame types that they had. So the frame type that I wanted, they couldn't accommodate my prescription,
mm,
which means I'm actually blind. So couldn't do that. But
yeah,
I did. I think I backed a Kickstarter for one that I'm really interested in. That was like my one 2024. Like you get this,
and
don't
that's
spend
it.
any other money for the rest
Yeah,
of the year.
yeah, yeah,
You don't this is your thing. If it goes well, cool. If it doesn't, well, that was your one thing for
yeah.
2024.
You have to keep it. You have to use it every day.
Got to figure out a way. Got to make it work essentially.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm excited for that coming in. I think it's coming in a couple of months, so that'll be fun. Going back to uh cameras though, question. So for someone who's trying to get into photography, videography,
Mhm.
like using like, you know, maybe their first camera, whatever it is, what would you recommend in terms of like, in terms of if getting into it as a hobby or even getting into it as a business? Like, what would you recommend?
Sure. Like gear wise or like tips or both?
Let's gear and tips in just operating one, using it, that kind of stuff.
Sure, sure. Gear, I would it depends on someone's funds and like what they're willing like to put down towards this. But because you can, the sky's the limit as far as what you can spend.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like if I didn't have what I had right now, cameras from 2018, like a Sony A7 III, are still great.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing to try to spend money on with cameras is the lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you get really good glass, that will last you as long as you stick with the same camera brand, that'll last you for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think with Nikon, they haven't changed their lens mount since the beginning, so you can get like lenses from like the 1940s
Yeah.
that are still quite amazing. They don't have any of the like super fast autofocus and stuff like that, but like the lens and the glass will last you much longer, and it can
Mm-hmm.
take any camera from like okay to like to directly to amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so whenever I recommend things to people, I tell them get an older camera body, but spend a lot of
Mm-hmm.
money on the lens, and you'll never have to buy another lens again.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm a Sony guy. I love Sony. I think that they just fit most hybrid uh, photographers or videographers like needs.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of on top of that technology. So I always recommend for true beginners, they're looking for the most affordable option. A7, no, I'm sorry. The Sony ZV-E10. I recommend that to almost everybody, along with a Sigma 18 to 50 or Tamron 17 to 70. Those both are
Mm-hmm.
like total, it's like $1,000, which is
Okay.
still a lot of money, but
Mm-hmm.
it's, there are some camera bodies out there that are $7,000 by themselves
Mm-hmm.
just for the camera.
I've seen that. It's insane.
And that's still not even the highest end that you could go. So that is a good entry point. It'll get you most everything done.
Mm-hmm.
SD cards, um, and everything is great, but to transition into tips and what to focus on, lighting. Like you can have the best gear in the world, but if your understanding of light and how to use it on either subject, if you're doing portraits, the way shadows fall on landscapes, buildings, on and things like that. If you're doing landscape photography or street photography, the use of light is what photography means. It's
Mm-hmm.
like to capture light. Um, so understanding lighting, studying lighting, watching movies and seeing how they light their subjects, understanding how where the light is coming from, hard shadows, soft shadows. Lighting is more important than the gear, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been able to change the quality of my work by paying way more attention to lighting than anything else. And um, as far as the only other tip I would have for a beginner photographer would be to have fun at first. Don't go into this like with the mindset I'm starting a business because this is a lot of work. I was working all day until we got onto this call,
Mm-hmm.
working on a project. I don't get to get my own personal content out there very much because I'm so busy with my clients' content. And the
Mm-hmm.
last thing I want to do once I'm done with that is look at my computer screen anymore.
Right.
So I have videos and I have this studio video I think we've been working me and Zach worked on since like 2021 that I still haven't put
Mm-hmm.
out there. And I have
Wow.
footage for over like 2 years that I haven't been able to put together because it's such a big
Mm-hmm.
project. And but I gotta work because this is a lot of work. And
Yeah.
um, so you have to have fun doing this first and learning those basics before you start uh, trying to charge people because once you
Mm-hmm.
transition into the business part of it, it's no longer just taking pictures and editing them. You have to like have be good at client relations. You have to be good at sales. You have to be good at time management on your own, and that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest uh, issues people have with photographers is they're artists and they aren't on top of their time management. So
Mm-hmm.
have fun doing this first. Don't put the pressure of a business onto yourself when you're just starting because immediately you won't have fun.
Yeah.
Um, and then you won't like it anymore and then you stop and you're robbing yourself of something that you like and the world of seeing something really, really cool through your eyes. So yeah, focus on having fun.
Mm-hmm.
That goes with anything art wise. That goes for dancers too.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's kind of when I stopped dancing was because when I stopped having fun with it. So every now I just anytime I dance, it's just there's a new song I want to dance to. I'll just dance to that song, and
Yeah.
then I got it out of my system. I like the tip you said about lighting though, for real, because as somebody who's never touched a camera in any sort of way in their life, and then I just picked up a phone and said I want to make videos, I was always like, what is going on? Why does it
Mm,
look like this? It didn't look like this when I looked at it on the screen. Why is it looking at this like in the final product? Why like
hmm
what is all this? what is all this haziness? What is all this graininess? What is all this like? What is this glare? Like what happened? Um, and I'm also like a very technical person, so I had to like research. Like, even though till this day, like I can't explain to you f-stop and aperture and things like that, but I had to go read it because I was like, there's something that's gonna make sense eventually.
Mhm.
It made no sense, and then I just kept like messing with it, and I was like, okay, how do I get my stuff to look like what I'm watching?
Mhm.
And that's when sometimes people like zoom out and kind of show their entire setup. So they show the softbox and they show like the practical and they show like this lighting and that lighting. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I go do it
Mhm.
myself. Doesn't look the same. It's so sad. Um, but I think it started to click last year after like 2 years of doing it. I was like, okay, I finally get what they mean by like lighting.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so, also me being somebody who like I'm addicted to perfecting my setup and making it like super no friction, and as soon as I want to record something it's ready to go, etc. I tell myself, okay, still you need to get better at the content piece of it. The like the tech and stuff you can get later on once you're good.
Mhm.
So my next thing is actually getting like a really good softbox.
Oh, yeah.
um because right now like this is honestly just like a monitor light that I can just like
Mhm.
tilt up and go up my face, and it can get warm and cold and like, everything like that. But I was like, you get good, brother, then you can get a softbox, and then I can actually play with lighting, do all that stuff, like figure out background, all that stuff. It's actually so much more fun on the technical side than I thought. It's
Yeah.
it's 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 interestingly enough so much more fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah. As I've grown into this more and more, I wanted to learn everything. And now that I've got a grasp on a lot of things, I don't know everything, of course, but as I've learned a lot more, I now want to narrow my focus into more lighting.
Mm,
Because lighting is just what makes, I think it's just what makes photography really beautiful. It takes
yeah.
an image that's interesting because of the composition, or maybe it's a model who's posed creatively and everything. But if the lighting is flat or if the lighting is just bad, it can ruin the photo. One
Yeah.
thing in Paris that I was really, really appreciating is that these artists from like 1400s, 1500s had an understanding of lighting too. Even though they're painting and not just
Mhm.
capturing a still, they're creating lighting in a realistic way with their
Mhm.
bare hands. So they kind of have to understand. I don't know if they knew like geometrically, like they were
Yeah.
actually like bouncing the light correctly, that they like did the math or something on that, but
Mhm.
there were some paintings, especially the portraits, that were like the shadows were so distinct, and then they fall off of the shoulder in a certain way, and I was just like,
Mhm.
they did this over the ruffles of the clothes that they did that, and I'm like, that's such commitment to their art form that they understand how the lighting would fall off of clothes.
Yeah.
And when you have that level of appreciation for lighting in camera, doesn't matter what camera you use, it'll be
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. I agree with you. I like that a lot. I want to pivot again
Sure,
a little bit. Do you like what do you kind of like to do outside of like work?
sure.
Uh whether like do you like to read? Do you like to listen to things? Do you like to watch things? What are you into?
Um, I'm into, gosh, it's hard to narrow down because I do love a lot of things.
Mhm.
Just for me personally, dance is more of a personal thing now. I used
Mhm.
to teach dance, and that was the art business that I was in. But I stopped teaching in 2017, and then picked up the camera a
Mhm.
year and a half later or so.
Mhm.
And again, I love technology. Like, I used to work for Apple, and
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that job because I really just enjoyed being there and talking about the technology stuff. I have a
Yeah.
12-year-old, We spend a lot of time together. She is my guiding light. Without her, I would be a very irresponsible man child. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, yeah. Her name's Ayana. She's the best kid in the world. I'm engaged, so I spend a lot of time traveling with my fiance. So
Yeah.
it's kind of it's not work, but I love or like doing landscape photography when we travel
Mm-hmm.
together because
Mm-hmm.
we get to see these beautiful, beautiful sights, and it's really amazing to be able to look back on that and just be like, oh God, this is mine. I took this, and I'm probably never going to go back there because there's so much other things to see in the world. But I
Yeah.
love traveling. I'm like all my friends now are like, "Are you here?" Because I'm literally never here.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Dallas, I mean, and I love video games. I've been a gamer forever. I have a Last of Us tattoo. I don't know
Oh,
if you know that
amazing.
game.
I've heard of it. Yeah. I haven't played it yet though.
Yeah, I have a tattoo from The Last of Us because that game was life changing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm big video gamer. Um, Anime. I love anime. I'll watch a lot of it when I can. Manga. I just
Mm-hmm.
read all of Solo Leveling, even though that's a manhwa from Korea. But Solo Leveling is being animated now, and I was like, you know what?
Yep.
I read through that like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember everything that happened, so I reread through it
Mm-hmm.
now, and I was gonna read Ragnarok, and I got into like the first two chapters, and I was like, this is so boring. I couldn't care less about his son, so
Yeah.
I dropped it.
Yeah.
And
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I
so,
I liked Ragnarok because I ended up well I'm a massive Solo Leveling fan, so I ended up rereading it again for
mm,
the third time last year when before season one came out. Watched season one, almost reread it again before season two, but I was like, no, you have too many other things to read. Um, but then I saw Ragnarok was out, and I
mhm,
told Canvas I was like, we have to read this. I don't care what happens, I just have to read it. Um, so it is like one of the only things now that I kind of try and read weekly
mhm. How are you
versus
enjoying it?
it's
It's ongoing now. Like it's
it is ongoing now. It
oh
is
okay.
yeah. It's well yeah. So like the I guess like the light novel story of it is already maybe done, but like the actual manhwa of it is out is ongoing
Okay.
and being released weekly and it's I think it's nice because it kind of gives you the same vibe as Soul Leveling. It's not trying to be something like drastically new.
Mhm.
You know like I almost equate it to Naruto and Boruto
Yeah.
where there were a lot of things in Boruto that I was like, I just don't like the direction that even the manga went, not even just the anime, but like the manga went. But I do kind of enjoy this next gen thing of Soul Leveling or like of Ragnarok and how it's comparatively very similar elements to Solo Leveling. So you still get that nostalgic feel of like I'm rereading a Solo Leveling type of content, but it is newer in the but it is a bit fresher and whether
Mhm.
it's any of like his son Suho's combat mechanics, the way he thinks, etc., the way that like the direction they're taking the story kind of more basic. It's kind of like, oh, okay, okay, fine, sure, let's
Mhm.
just it's not do anything new in that respect, but it's just like nice and fun to read,
Yeah.
and kind of gives me kind of the vibe that I want. They brought back Beru as opposed to the other guys. They made him like the little mascot, chibi mascot floating around,
Mhm.
uh, kind of that kind of thing. And I was like, well, if there's anybody who's gonna do it, it's gonna have to be that fucking ant. So, um, okay, so I love that you said that because now I get to ask you favorite anime, favorite manga, favorite manhwa,
Okay.
and favorite game.
Just because I haven't read a lot of manhwas, Solo Leveling. I
Sure.
think that's the only manhwa I've read through its entirety.
Mm.
Um, Favorite manga? Ooh, that is a good question. Hmm. It used to be um My Hero Academia. Like oh God, I was addicted to the manga. I would literally that was one of the only times that I would wait until Sunday, I think it was when it was releasing, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my gosh, yes, new chapter." and I
Yeah.
would go through it. And but the last arc was really disappointing. It just felt like they were rushing to finish it, and even because it was supposed to end a long time ago, and then I guess they were
Mm-hmm.
just kind of over it, and it felt like that. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is not the route I thought it was going to take, so I was a little disappointed at the ending. But
Yeah.
um, that's still probably my favorite manga. I'm loving One Punch Man, like,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's going on. They're releasing one chapter like every other month or something. So
It's so slow.
yeah, like I think they were on a consistent week for like 3 chapters, and then
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything in like 9 weeks. Um, but I like One Punch Man. Favorite anime? Ooh, that is a good question. I have favorite animes for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think my comfort anime is actually Sword Art Online, just
Mm-hmm.
season one,
Yep.
because that one was really good. Season two, season three, the Gun Gale thing,
We don't
hated
talk
all
about
of it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hated all that. I watched them, but I hated them.
Mm-hmm.
But the season one was phenomenal, and it's kind of a comfort anime. Like I'll just put it on the background. But I want to say either, oh, what's that? Gurren Lagann is like a hidden favorite.
I've heard a
I have too
lot of
many.
people say that.
Yeah, Gurren Lagann is good.
Almost it's older, but it still seems so underrated for even how old it is. Like just so many
Hmm.
people just say, people don't talk about this much, but Gurren Lagann, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah. Gurren
Yeah.
Lagann is really good. It's like a shorter version of Naruto, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, dang, I'll give you three. Gurren Lagann is like the one I would love for more people to watch because it
Mm-hmm.
is very good, and it's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Attack on Titan is probably my favorite now because I used to. I have a habit of like when everybody loves something, I'm like whatever. I'll just
Yep.
when it's so popular, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to like
Yeah.
be with the crowd as much. But I finally watched it in its entirety. I was like, this is masterful.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing. Like the twists were really like I could never would have predicted that.
Yeah.
Um and the one I recommend to new anime people, and it's a favorite of mine, is called oh no, what is it called? Erased. Erased.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
it's
it yet.
only 12 episodes. It'll take you 4 hours to watch the
Mm-hmm.
entire season, but it is phenomenal. It's the first one I
Mm-hmm.
introduced to my fiance. I think that's the first one I showed her because it's such an easy commitment,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very little sci-fi to it. It's
Yeah.
mostly drama and suspense, and yeah, I got her hooked, and
Wow.
we're watching some animes together now, and so that's my like recommendation favorite.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like that. That's a really good like solid list, and it's not very with the crowd like you said. I agree with you on that. Cause damn, sometimes crowd favorites are really bad.
Yeah.
But since I'm also consistently online, I've stopped watching so many manga and anime because I just see all the spoilers on Twitter, whether it's
Mm,
a new episode came out or like, people read the scans before the actual like chapter comes out or whatever. And I'm like, I haven't watched One Piece since before the last arc now because I just see everything on Twitter. I don't even have to watch it. I just know what's already happening.
yeah.
Or even from My Hero, to your point, I watched the anime first. At some point, I was like, the anime was on hiatus until the next season. So I was like, let me just read the manga instead.
Hmm.
I read it. That shit was gas. But up until like the chapter before the last arc where it said this is going to be the last arc,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I was hoping for some reason in my head, I was hoping for like a time skip or
Me too.
something. I was
Yeah.
I was like I was like I thought that's how he's gonna be the best is when he's an adult with all the knowledge he's had as a kid, and that's when he's number one. Like that
Hmm.
like I feel like that, but maybe because maybe a lot of people were expecting it. I don't know. I just think that would have been dope. But
Yeah,
since that wasn't gonna happen, I was like, I've lost interest.
yeah,
Now, so that
yeah.
was
I
also
thought,
really sad.
I'll try to keep it spoiler free, but I thought there was going to be a time skip. I thought maybe he was going to get sent to America to be safe and train and
Mm-hmm.
come back like a young adult, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
19 or something, and like have mastered one for all and like start beating people's ass. But um, I just the ending was fine. I think they just kind of like rushed the emotional part of it. And I think that's what made My
Mm,
Hero so good.
yeah.
Like one of my favorite arcs was Red Riot's um
Yes.
arc where he was like, I don't feel good enough. And who doesn't all feel like that? You know, I feel
Yep.
like I could really relate to him and through hard work and effort, he became the hero he wanted to be. The arc with Stain, the hero killer,
Mm-hmm.
he was very much like um who was the bad guy in Black Panther? Killmonger.
Yeah, Killmonger.
He was like had that Killmonger kind of ideology that like
Mm-hmm.
you're a bad guy and you're killing people, but you're not wrong, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that the hero society is twisted and there's only one true hero and he could see it in Midoriya, and so like the ethical part of it just all got kind of dropped, and it all became
Mm-hmm.
just like I just need to beat this guy, and everything will be okay. I
Yep.
love the epicness and the scale of the fights that happen in the manga. Can't wait to
Yeah.
see those animated.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with I forget her name,
Ochako?
Ochako, and yeah, you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and and he not he may
yeah.
homegirl with the blood, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hiromi or something like that.
Yeah.
Hated that. That was
It was
useless.
it was yeah.
There was no ethical or moral dilemma. It was just like, I want to make her feel good. I don't know. Didn't like that part at all.
Yeah. I get it.
Jujutsu
I get it.
Kaisen I finished recently, but it had that same kind of like, we're just trying to end this now. And
Yes, I was that was another one. I was gonna read the manga,
mhm.
but I was like, you know what? I love the way they're animating it. I just kind of want to like let it be animated for me. But yeah, no, Jujutsu Kaisen like love the animation for that for season 1 at least. And season 2 started and I was like this is really sick. And then Twitter fucking ruined me with manga spoilers.
Mm,
And at that and so like once I realized I literally couldn't escape it because I am a manga and anime enthusiast. I do and manhwa enthusiast. So I like knowing these things. I like seeing new manga and like the key visuals and like new things come out. So if I see a couple of things related to like new things, I'm gonna get random people who are gonna just put the
spoil it.
image online or like
Yeah.
meme it or whatever it is, right? Because so many Gojo memes and stuff.
Yeah,
So
I know what you're referring to.
uh
I finished the manga, so
yeah, okay, cool. So
mhm.
there so once and then when I saw how it ended, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for it to be animated at that point because
Mhm.
I've noticed a lot of, and this is something that Camus and I were talking about, like the Demon Slayer example of a very mid story animated so amazingly
Yeah.
that like you just can't help but love it or
Yeah.
enjoy it for what it is. And so I've noticed a couple of other anime like that I was like, okay, I don't think I'll actually enjoy reading this because maybe I just want to enjoy the story, but I'll just like to watch it.
Right.
Um,
I think yeah. Demon Slayer is like the only one that's doing it like without a lot of issue. Like
yeah.
they're going at a slow pace. Each arc gets its own season, and each arc is a big deal in and of
Mm-hmm.
itself. It
Yeah.
I feel like My Hero was kind of trying to get to the war arc and skipped over the My Villain arc,
Yep.
which was I thought one of the best parts of
A
My
lot
Hero.
of people were wanting the My Villain arc.
Yeah, they like breezed over it in one episode, and I was like, no. The turmoil that these people feel that made them this way, made them bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
is very relatable, I think.
Mm.
And that's what made that whole part special. You kind of got on their side during the
Yeah.
manga, but when they animated it, it was just like, yeah, they're troubled. And then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
because
so, but
I guess they couldn't confirm that, or they couldn't get it approved that, people actually want to watch the villain side. It's not always
yeah,
about the hero. They want to
yeah.
watch the villain side too.
I think they
And
also were preoccupied, like the studio was also preoccupied
yeah,
making the movie.
yeah,
Like they were
that
like,
too.
we couldn't commit as many resources to both, so we
Mm-hmm.
just cut the arc short, which was a horrible decision. And
Yeah,
but yeah, the Demon Slayer is doing it really, really well. I think
yeah,
they were taking moments that aren't as big a deal to the whole story and
mm-hmm.
making them and stretching them out and making them
Yeah.
kind of feel a little old school, like old Dragon Ball Z episode of just screaming, you know,
Yeah.
for a whole
And we'll
episode.
still take it.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Newer
yeah.
gen may not take it, but I'll still take it. I'll feel it. I will feel the fact that this entire episode was just, you know, 3 minutes of actual content and then 15 minutes of like don't know what it was, but people were just talking. But I'll
Mhm.
still take that because
Yeah,
we grew up on DBZ. We grew up on roaring for 25 minutes straight and then
yeah,
saying next time and then starting it all over again with a recap of 5 minutes of roaring
yeah,
and then exposition. It was great. I miss it so much. I haven't
yeah. I
watced
think
Daima.
I haven't
I
watched
heard
Daima
Daima's
either.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw some clips, so again, spoilers that like kind of ruined the ending for me, but I'll give it a
Mm-hmm.
shot once. I think it's only 12 episodes.
I will say the one thing I absolutely hate as an avid anime watcher is I love all of this effort they're putting to solo leveling,
Mm,
but every single other manhwa adaptation has been so much worse. Even before solo leveling came out, like
mm.
I think it was back in 22 or 21, or maybe it was earlier than that. They'd animated Tower of God season one, God of High School season one, and Noblesse.
Oh, I
And
actually
Noblesse was
tried to
chill.
watch both Tower of God and God of High School. I tried to watch both.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get into it at all.
Well, God of High School, so like they rushed like 50 to like how many of our chapters into just those few episodes, which is why you just it just skipped everything. It felt so rushed. Like they could have given it like 2 cours, 25 episodes would have been amazing because they were actually animating the fights really well. Like
Mm,
the fight scenes were dope, and that's like one of my top manhwa of all time. Like it gets me in the zone to work my ass off every single time I think about it.
mhm.
Um, Tower of God, I actually liked that art style. Like
Yeah.
I wish they would, because it was just unique. It's not like
Hmm.
every other anime out there. And then in season two, though, they changed it to go into like more modern art style, right? Like the the black border lines around all the characters and like looking crisper, sure, but it felt like the same as
Yeah.
everything else. But then if it's looking the same as everything else, it has to be in the same quality as everything else, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't even haven't even finished season two, and so leveling was okay, dope. There's a fifth one that they're animating called The Beginning After the End, which is really fucking good. Ramon, I'm telling you right now, it's so
The
fucking good.
beginning after the end. I will
The Beginning After
find
the End.
it.
It's TBATE. Do not get spoiled for it. But they release like a visual of the animation of like the anime, and it's just already not looking off to a good start.
Oh
And
no.
I'm hoping the stuff they're showing isn't indicative of like the actual like episodes. Maybe they like maybe the clips they took were just kind of bad, or like
Mhm.
in isolation. But I'm already like, there's no way you're doing this.
Yeah. You're ruining it
There's
again.
honestly, I'm like, just stop, please stop. At this point, don't even take them. Just don't do it. Um,
Yeah. It's
but
interesting how there's this. It's almost unique to itself. I think the only other thing that does it that isn't Japanese or Korean is Invincible. Like
mm-hmm.
you
Oh, that
very
was
rarely see
massive.
us like a book, a graphic novel, an anime, like in Western culture, get turned
Mm-hmm.
into this big deal cultural, like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's watching
Yeah.
Demon Slayer. It's having theatrical releases. Like I love where it's gone for sure.
Yeah.
because I grew up on like Yu-Gi-Oh and all
Mm-hmm.
that, and I was one of the dorks that brought his deck to school. And
I did too.
um, you still have a deck?
I do.
I do too. I still
I
have one.
have a an attempted Blackwing deck, but it's not full.
Mm.
I have I think that's well, and I loved playing Master Duel when it first came out, so I was really in there. But for me, it was Blackwings, Boojins, and then Photons. So I was trying to get those, and I couldn't get all of
Ooh.
them because
Did you?
I was also like not making money at the time because I was like in college and in high school, and I wasn't going to be able to spend money on those things. So
Yeah.
I just kind of picked up packs and like tins as I could and hoped I got the cards that I wanted, etc.
I think from what you said, did you get into the whole like pendulum and
Yes.
risk summoning and all that stuff? I did
Ye-
not get into any of that stuff. I'm even still to this day, I'm old school with my Yu-Gi-Oh!
mm-hmm.
Like I like my Battle City
Mm-hmm.
cards. I have a spellcaster deck kind of based off of Yugi's Battle City deck,
Yeah.
combined with like some newer gen spellcasters that have like way better effects.
Right.
But none of the pendulum summons. I don't use any of
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't even understand it, actually. I
Yeah.
don't know how that works.
Yeah. I so my crutch was always I loved watching the anime before I would even
Mm,
like think about the cards. So at a point in time I did stop collecting the cards and I just watched the anime. So
mhm,
then when Master Duel came out, it was really fun, and I also played like Duel Links. So like I liked playing those games. And like collecting the cards in there because they were like modern, up to date, and I could play the game the way more people are playing it, just online. And so that's just how I learned like how like how the new gimmicks work.
oh, I see.
Um,
That's what I could probably
it's just
do.
like using the online like using Master Duel and stuff because um the animes are fun, but at a certain point you had to like it kind of hits like okay yeah I know this is made for people younger than me. I know this is made for people who are probably in a different generation because it's not hitting the same anymore.
Hmm.
I just have to get through it. I the second to last season, Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains, which is like VR stuff, didn't finish it. I've tried two separate times to finish it, and I just can't get through the second half of it because I'm just like so bored by getting to the first through the first half. I'm like, okay, cool. I get how this shit works. Fine, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
So you're saying I
But
have to watch the anime and then I'll understand how all that works.
honestly, I think you will. I think because you know how the anime they always explain everything they're doing for like the
Yeah,
10th,
yeah,
like the 557th time, and so
yeah,
at some point you're like, okay, makes sense. This and this is how the effect works. Sometimes it's anime only effects or whatever, but
yeah.
it does to me it makes sense more through the anime. And my like personal favorite seasons are like the synchro season with 5Ds and then the IXI season with Zexal. Those are my two favorites. Like I grew up on Yu-Gi-Oh and GX, but I just
Hmm.
ended up liking those two in the middle more because they had my favorite archetypes. So to this day, I sometimes I like following along. I think at some point when I really want to, I'm gonna like sit down and say, what's the best deck that I can build for the archetypes I want, and just have them,
Hmm.
just to have them at that point. Because I don't actually duel in person. I have friends who do, but I don't really do that. I just like collecting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't collect anymore or duel really. I don't have any friends that
Mm-hmm.
duel anymore. Also, I feel I think my deck wouldn't really work. I think I have a bunch of
Yeah.
forbidden cards. But but I watched your OG Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, and all the Battle City stuff, all the God of War stuff, or not God of War, uh, the the Gods of Egypt stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just kind of stuck with that. What I loved though was, or I loved thinking back on it, was that the original uh anime, like the very first arc and season,
Mm-hmm.
the game and that anime had nothing to do to anything to with each other. Like they made up
Yep.
whatever they wanted in the anime and
Yep.
just played however it made sense to them.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, my summon skull is actually dead, so this doesn't affect him, and he kills
Yeah.
you. Or
Yeah.
my Celtic
My
Guardian just
baby
doesn't.
dragon can merge with Time Wizard for 1,000 dragon. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's how it
Yeah.
works?
Or my my Celtic Guardian is just, he doesn't want to give up, so he didn't die.
Yeah.
He chops your head off now, and then like
Yeah.
it's like, no, no, that's a blue eyes white dragon. Yeah, he died
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
100%.
But yeah, I always thought that that was humorous about the OG season, that like it just made up whatever it wanted. But
Mm.
yeah, that's a classic. I do wish I could get back into the cards, because there was a phase where I was buying like specific cards on eBay because they were cheap. They
Yep.
were like $1 or something,
Yep.
and I built my deck, and it was really really good. I really like it.
Yeah. I find it really fun when I was collecting to be like, I think there's just one kid in my hometown who we were friends, and so we sometimes play, and
Hmm.
so but like we wouldn't really be technical. They would just like, let's just play and see what happens. Um, did you since you said you played games a lot too? Did you ever play Sacred Cards?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Is
so
this the Yu-Gi-Oh game?
yes, it is a Game Boy
Oh,
Advance game. Yu-Gi-Oh! So
oh,
the Sacred Cards.
is it with the rose in the picture or something?
I don't think it's with the rose in the picture. It's basically you're playing through the Battle City arc, and like it has buku customization of your cards at that point. And you're just dueling all the main characters of the story multiple times,
Oh, no,
all
I
that
never
stuff.
played this. This is like a 3D version. I
Mm-hmm.
did play like a Game Boy version, but it was like a top-down view of Battle City,
Gotcha.
and like it had points, and you would go there and you would battle somebody. Maybe they'd be a
Yeah.
famous character, maybe they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Um, but
This one's dope. So
yeah,
if you ever get back into vintage games, 20 out of 10 recommend. It's the only Yu-Gi-Oh game I've ever actually enjoyed in my life, and they just haven't made another one like it, which is surprising. It's crazy how sometimes the
interesting.
best games that came out were in back then because they just haven't made games like it.
I'm wondering
Like
which
how
is the one I played. It was like some Battle City Secret Cards. I don't remember Secret Cards. I think it was Stairway to the Destined Duel. That's the one I played.
I've seen gameplay of that one before. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was cool because I could put in the code
Mm-hmm.
of the card that I wanted, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, get that card. And
Yeah.
like I could build my real life deck
Yeah.
in the game, and I really really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
I like that a lot. That was fun. Awesome. Well, this was really amazing, dude, to talk to you. I don't think we've actually like chatted like this
Mhm.
before, so I appreciate you just coming on and chatting with me. I learned a ton more about you, and I appreciate that. And I definitely want to get down with you if we're ever in Dallas at the same time.
Sure. Where are
We'll
you based? Where are you
I'm
located?
in Pennsylvania now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I actually have a
yeah.
friend who just moved to. It's Pennsylvania and Virginia are really close together,
Um, Dog shit at this. I don't think
right?
so. No.
Geography.
I think
Well,
Pennsylvania is more north than how south I assume it is. It's even more
mm,
north than that, which is weird to think about.
gotcha.
Um,
Nonetheless, I travel a bunch. When I'm in Pennsylvania, I'll let you know, and we can
100%,
maybe link up.
100%. I would love that. Before you go though, I ask everybody who comes on the podcast this, and I want to ask you intentionally vague. What is one advice that you'd like to give to somebody who's listening?
One advice. I'll give you the advice, or the realization I came to while in Paris, and um that there is this Japanese art thing. I think it's called Kazuki, maybe. It's like when a vase breaks,
Mm-hmm.
they fix it with gold. Not because it's the point of it isn't to fix it back to its original state where it was perfect and unbroken, and you could never tell that it was broken. It's to tell its story and what it's been through, and
Mm-hmm.
highlight what it's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was in Paris, while I was at the Louvre looking at some of the best art that's ever existed in the world, Um,
Yeah.
I was listening to a book by Rick Rubin called The Creative Act on my
Mm-hmm.
headphones and just walking through the Louvre and appreciating the art. And he mentions this. He mentions how the Leaning Tower of Pisa was a mistake that they made worse by trying to fix it. And
Mm-hmm.
now everybody goes to it because of the mistake.
Yeah.
And that we as artists have a self-consciousness that maybe leads us to wanting to be perfect and master it and only put it out there if it's good enough and don't let anybody see what's wrong with it or not love it because it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was in Paris, I realized that um being open to or being in the position I am of like doing this full time, being a freelancer full time, it's risky. Yeah, I have months
Mm-hmm.
where it's not going so well, and I have months that's going amazing. But having the availability to do something like Just Debut, but also realizing that I put myself in the position to take the opportunity by not um, exacerbating my circumstances by wanting everything and
Mm-hmm.
wanting it to be perfect, wanting my life to be perfect, wanting my situation to be perfect, my car to be perfect, my home to be perfect, et cetera, et cetera. I gave up a few things and chose this path that put me on something that was very exciting to do. So those
Mm-hmm.
two things combined, making myself available for the things that I want, and then appreciating the flaws that I may have as an artist or the flaws in my art got me to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take me to the next place, I'm sure. And I have to stop looking at the things that I think need fixing as issues and appreciate, the path that got me here. As
Yeah.
hard as it was, because right now I travel a lot, right? So that takes funds, that takes, you know, giving up certain luxuries, giving up
Yeah.
having to be able to go home to your PlayStation, instead
Mm-hmm.
you have to go to a hotel room and use their weird towels that don't feel good,
Yeah.
but
He's so right.
because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to Paris. I wouldn't have been able to take that experience, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would look at my photography or my dancing and think it's not good enough to ever have done that. But
Mm-hmm.
because I put myself in the position that I was and made certain sacrifices and accepted it for the way that it was, that opportunity presented itself to me and I could take it. And
Yeah.
so I kind of bounced around a little bit there, but at the end of the day, that us as artists, we just have to accept the way that we are. There's always room for improvement. There's always room to get better. But the
Mm-hmm.
things that make you you uh, are not flaws.
Yeah.
They're not the things that need to be hidden or fixed or removed so that you
Yeah.
can be accepted more.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's the things that people will connect with that if you're at least honest about them. So
Yeah.
that's what I would give
Well,
it.
guys, you guys heard it here. If you ever feel broken, just add gold to yourself, and you'll just be better for it. Ramon is single handedly fixing the gold market. Everybody go buy gold. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Ramon, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can follow me on my personal page, the Ramon Grande. It's all about everything I do. Or if you're interested in my photography, just Ramon Grande Photography.
Nice, awesome. Once again, thank you so much.